Salutations and welcome. What I would like to talk about today is the subject of egocentrism. It is a prevalent part of our modern society as more and more people seek the attention and gratification of the original self. With social media, it has become the foundation of our social interaction, as well as our individual world perception. Ego itself is not inherently evil on every level, but I do think that most people fail to perceive what it means in the initial development of our character as we grow through life. Most people hear the word ego and believe it carries a negative connotation. The ego is defined as a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. We need both of these things to function in the world so we can care for and protect ourselves, as well as learn about what best serves us in a healthy way. Egocentrism is substantially different, as it is defined as a person's inability to differentiate between the self and other. It is highlighted by a lack of ability to understand or empathize with any perspective other than one's own. This sounds very close to narcissism, but it does not always involve a kind of manipulation. Developing children are most often egocentrist, because as they learn about the world, their focus is the self, as they observe how outer events directly affect them. They cannot empathize with others because they do not have the mental capacity. This is normal. Many beings carry this into adulthood, however, and it is not natural. This is because as they grow up, they fail to separate the hurting, pain-expectant child ego from adult potential. I don't think people generally realize that this has many ties to addiction, as repetitive action brings about comfort from pain, like an infant sucking their thumb. Habits like smoking, overeating, or drinking are pacifying actions to a mind that believes it is doomed to eternally suffer a perceived problem with no solution. It brings about the delusion of stability, while the inner problem is fear. Fear of change, failure, catastrophe, death, etc. We are consistently under pressure to succeed in society, at school, in our job, or simply in the role of family when we wish to be the most successful and stable. Speaking of family, I also don't think that people give enough credit to their individual consciousness and ability to function solely as an independent body. If we have set examples in our family, where we are raised around substance abuse or other poor lifestyle choices, we tend to accept these behaviors as normal to some degree. The narrative often is, well, my dad did it, or my sibling did it, so why should I be expected to live any better? This discourages a potential for change and may so often be the reason we see the same issues carry through family generations. While we are set to view life as a mere competition, combined with the fact that we carry things with us like insecurity and emotional instability, our subconscious is already set to believe we are destined to fail. The stress is too much. Therefore, we do not try much to improve ourselves on the level of the individual. Humans mostly strive to maintain their status quo, ensuring they have just enough to function on the surface level they are accustomed to, having shelter and nourishment to survive, and money enough to also feed whichever addiction I have listed above. Egocentrists are not interested in self-change or developing different habits that are inclusive to others as well. They consistently look for ways to adapt the current self into different environments and events and stay the same for years and years. It is about protecting the shallow me. They are only interested in information or material products that protect and support their limited view. Because protection or a crutch against potential failure, is what the child ego demands, like a kid waiting for a parent's hand to hold before they cross the street. It's a safe bet, and if anything else seems too foreign, it is automatically dismissed. Social media generally allows us to highlight our biggest and brightest moments while diluting the mediocre or dull into the background, into near non-existence. In reality, the colors aren't always so bright, and we do not live like rock stars. In reality, this delusion makes life much harder, especially when who we are on social media is not a true reflection of how we live in everyday life. Enabling the illusion keeps the mental wall up. This is because we all, in fact, do have an aspect of ego that longs to reach very high potentials that are often denied. People do not believe that their highest potential can actually reach a level of maintenance and longevity. Rather, they tend to scheme for momentary glory, instant gratification, and momentary happiness. We crave such addicting comforts as previously mentioned because they are temporary relief. They bandage the surface of our innermost desire to transform into a being who is the embodiment of the highest self by living an overall lifestyle reflective of the highest values possible. More than this, we do not want to flood ourselves with toxins and poisons. We do not want to hold on to a heartbreak a loved one caused us in the past. Our hearts, souls, and minds long to be pure and simple. Our bodies long to be clean. We have to accept the desire for change exists. We have to take down our pride. We want to take on the role of being the responsible caretakers of ourselves and the world we were given. We do not want the most for one, but rather sufficient for all. Underneath everything, we want to let go of void and embrace infinite possibility. However, the laws of the universe do not allow for the evolution of the spirit, or generally the internal conscious, without first realizing we are fully capable of better. Our tendency is to manipulate what is on the outside, but rarely to reflect on the inside. We have to understand we have inner power that cannot be disrupted or taken away. The world could crumble and we'd remain ourselves. We have to let go of the things, habits, and old ideals we clung to while breaking us. By realizing our ego, our actual self-worth, what we want, in a constructive manner, we can begin to build up from the foundation and ascend. If we remain the childlike egocentrist who sees nothing wrong with their current habit, we eternally wait to cross the street in false fear of inescapably being broken. We do not agree to push upward. We continue to struggle in a linear 3D realm that never truly changes. If we want the world to change, we must first change ourselves. We can recognize the validity of our negative emotions and feelings without letting our past failures and disappointments define who we are. We can change our thought patterns. We can move onward to better action. Life was not made to break and degrade us. It was made to shape and uplift. If you have made it this far, I thank you for listening. Please do consider subscribing if you have not already, and if you feel compelled to leave your input, please do so in the comment section. I hope this has provided you with a greater perspective of some kind. I do encourage you to put your best effort forward in life. After all, we are in it together. Life always rewards an open mind, heart, and soul. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Survive and thrive. Much peace to you.